At 15,000 feet, the air is thin, the soil is frozen solid, and ultraviolet radiation strips moisture from living tissue. Yet, buried in the rocky alpine slopes of the Himalayas, a perennial herb called Nardasticus jatamansi completely ignores these conditions and thrives. Pull it from the earth, and you don't find a standard root system. You find a dark, stout rhizome covered entirely in a thick, chaotic mat of shaggy hair. Ancient Sanskrit texts looked at this aggressive, matted mass and named it Bhuta Jata, a term that translates directly to demon appearance. Because of its disturbing, almost creature-like features, it developed a deep mythological reputation as a physical ward against evil forces. In traditional North Indian homes, parents would take this hairy root and place it directly underneath the beds of young children to protect them from roaming spirits in the night. But the foundational healers of Ayurveda, physicians like Charaka and Sushruta, understood human physiology. They knew these nocturnal spirits were not literal monsters hiding in the dark. Those ancient ghosts were early clinical observations of severe sleep disturbances, night terrors, extreme psychological stress, and hallucination. The medical irony is striking. To conquer a chaotic, terrified mind, physicians prescribed a root that looked like pure chaos itself. To understand exactly how this root works, we have to strip away the folklore and examine its exact pharmacological profile through the strict lens of Ayurvedic medicine. This radial chart maps the herb's rasa, skewed toward bitter and astringent. Plotting its guna, its physical qualities, we hit a paradox. It's light to digest, yet heavily unctuous, lubricating the nervous system without lethargy. Its real power is its virya, a massive systemic cooling response. Once processed of the digestive tract, its vipaka, or post-digestive chemistry, acts as a pungent agent, keeping the metabolism active. This highly specific chemical matrix allows it to regulate the doshas, the body's functional energies. It rapidly pacifies an overheated pitta, the energy of fire and metabolism, while grounding an erratic vata, which governs the nervous system. By physically cooling the blood and deeply lubricating the nerves, Jatamansi biologically suppresses an overactive, haunted nervous system. The functional outcome of these combined properties places the herb in a special class called a medhya, a botanical brain tonic specifically targeting cognitive function. It acts as a universal off-switch for the brain's distress signals, historically utilized to restore consciousness and quiet severe hysteria. As the nervous system settles, the physical body follows. Clinical observations show secondary, downward-moving effects, a reduction in high blood pressure, and the elimination of burning sensations across the skin and scalp. Jatamansi forces a top-down physiological reset. It physically cools the blood in the body to ultimately quiet the alarms ringing in the brain. Moving from clinical theory to practical application requires specific multi-step apothecary preparations. For chronic insomnia and stress-induced hair loss, healers soak the roots overnight, grind them into a paste, and cook them with sesame oil. This medicated oil is then massaged directly into the scalp. To treat acute anxiety, hallucination, or vertigo, 20 grams of the root are boiled down into a highly concentrated water decoction, filtered, and drunk right before bed. For stress headaches and a burning scalp, dry root powder is rubbed with ghee and butter, then applied topically to the center of the head to draw out trapped heat. Because of its intense potency, dosing requires exact precision. Too much causes severe abdominal cramps, vomiting, and oversedation. It also actively stimulates blood flow, meaning it must be strictly avoided during heavy menstruation or pregnancy. These rigorous preparation methods and strict safety parameters exist because the plant functions as a highly active pharmacological agent. The demon root of the Himalayas presents a perfect biological contradiction. A plant that visually embodies chaos delivers profound systemic tranquility. It survives in the frozen, unmovable stillness of high-altitude rock and ice. Extracting its oils and brewing its fibers allows us to internalize the extreme, cooling stillness of the peaks where it was born.